friend of mine that knows the story behind this picture says that I need to tell that story. It is kind of one of the mess ups that I've done over the years. I've done a couple. About 3 years ago is when this picture was taken, and I had on a leased farm. I had 30 bred heifers. They spent the summer over there, and we were we didn't have a really good first and second cutting the hay, so we were short. But we had a really wet fall, and the grass kept growing. So I said, I'm going to leave them over there as long as I can. That the way it'll save us some hay. The farm's split on two different sides. The other side of the creek, that grass was growing so much that we actually couldn't keep up with it. So I had a group of little calves here, 300 or 400 pounds. It was about 50 of those. Some were dairy heifers, some were dairy steers, some were Angus dairy crosses. They ran out of grass here Octoberish, so I said, well, I'll just haul those over there and let them be on that side of the creek. They can eat that stockpile down, and that'll save me some more hay. Well, somewhere right around Christmas, I guess, all that grass played out. So I said, well, that's not a real big problem. I had 100 rows of hay on that farm. I said, we'll just feed that hay. Well, it went to raining. It was actually right around Christmas. It was too wet to get them out. So I said, well, I'll just put the two groups together. It's not ideal. I said, but the ground will dry up. I'll be able to get all these cattle out of here pretty quick. Well, the 100 rolls of hay that was over there got fed up pretty fast. So the last couple of weeks they were over there, we were hauling about 12 bales of, it was actually my milk cow baleage. It was the best we had over there every day. The tons of grain. It took a whole lot of grain to get those, and we were in mud, and it was just, well, it was kind of a nightmare. But the little calves were getting rooted out, and they really weren't doing well. We knew we had to get them home, and we knew we had to get them home fast. The last 2 days we fed over there, it was actually so wet that I couldn't get the truck and trailer off the main road. So we'd stop in the main road and unload it, and I'd turn around and watch the gates while it got put in with the tractor. But I got to looking over there one morning, late January, early February, I guess, and I said, these heifers are going to calve. I thought they were not due till the middle of March. So these heifers are going to calve before then. So I went and looked in my records, and I had, I guess, forgotten when I had turned the bull in. So instead of calving in the middle of March, they were going to start calving in the middle of February. So one Friday afternoon, we were over there feeding, and two of them had calves. Well, we were lucky that a cold front was coming in, and about 4:30, 5 o'clock that afternoon, the ground was going to start freezing. So I hooked the trailer up. It's a barred trailer from a neighbor, and we got those two calves home. And I told everybody, I said, the load Saturday morning is going to be 5. I said, the high is supposed to be 24. I said, this is the day we got to get these cattle out of here. So we came up with a game plan on Friday night, because we still got to get all the cows milked and fed here, on how we was going to do this and that. So I got over there about 5:30 the next morning, and got the holding pen was not big enough for all of them. So I got me a cut, caught in the pen, got them loaded up. We got out of there about daylight, I guess. And as we was coming out of the gate, we got to looking around, and we'd had 4 more heifers calve. So we started hauling cattle home. In total, I think it was 12 loads. They all weren't full. Small ones we didn't want to send them home with the big ones. We had a bull over there that wanted to beat on everybody when we got him loaded, so we hauled him home separate. I think I had 14 feed troughs over there that we hauled in one of those trips in the cattle trailer. Got everything home, got the little ones sorted out from the big ones, got everything fed. We still had to feed them. Nobody was here to get the two heifers we brought on Friday night, broke in Saturday morning, so they hadn't been milked. So when this picture was taken, we had broken in, we'd hauled 80 head home. We'd broken in 6 new heifers. We had 2 cows calved that day, so we actually had 8 total calves. I didn't have enough hutches for all those calves, so we threw some old hay in the super hutch. And this was about 6 o'clock in the evening, and this was taken after we were feeding the last of the calves. There's actually 4 calves in this picture, but it's hard to see 2 of them because they're buried up in straw. But I remember just sitting there thinking how tired I was and what all we had accomplished that day. And I had about 4 or 5 cows to breed, and I was actually figuring out how I was going to get everything done and get those cows bred before it got dark, because we don't have a whole lot of lights where we do our cow breeding. But that was, well, a bad judgment, I guess, starting about Christmas, all piled up, and that was an early day in February where it was a pretty hectic day here on the farm.